été par le cadre. Ben oui, parce qu'elle est là.
So we have Aurélien Guillory showing up here at the La Tulippe, and tonight it's a benefit for some causes related to the Sue Montgomery Being Raped Not Reported initiative. Sue Montgomery, besides being the justice reporter for the Montréal Gazette, is a Montreal Unitarian. And she recently came out about being raped but not having reported it. And there's a benefit to raise funds, I presume, for support groups and so on for people who have been raped. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with coming out about having been raped in the past. But unfortunately, Sue Montgomery is one of the many Unitarians, Unitarian Universalists, who is complicit in the cover-up and denial of Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct, which includes rape, to say nothing of pedophilia. I asked Sue to report that the Unitarian Universalist Association was trying to misuse Canada's blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalists. They were falsely accusing me of the archaic crime of blasphemous libel, on the unfounded basis that I'd allegedly made unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the Unitarian Universalist Association engaged in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So essentially falsely accused me of blasphemous libel on a false pretext in an effort to intimidate me into removing blog posts about Unitarian Universalists who'd actually been convicted of rape. So this is an egregious perversion of justice. It's basically Bill Cosby-style legal bullying that's intended to intimidate people into shutting up about rape and so on. And when I brought this to Sue Montgomery's attention, in the hope that she just might do a story about it in the Gazette, she of course did not, because hey, she's a Unitarian and she doesn't want that kind of stuff to be known, so she did absolutely nothing to report it. So to put it in being raped, never reported terms, children have been raped by Unitarian Universalist clergy, and that's Sue Montgomery right there, by the way, going in. So as I was saying, children have been raped by Unitarian Universalist ministers, and Sue Montgomery, the Gazette Justice reporter who just went in, and the Gazette more generally, never reported that story, even in spite of being asked to on more than one occasion. I'm not sure if I asked Sue on more than one occasion, but I certainly asked the Gazette a few times to report the story, and they came up with all kinds of excuses not to. So essentially, as I said, Sue, you know, that's not the only way, by the way, that she's involved in cover-up and denial of clergy sexual misconduct. I mean, it's one thing not to report a story, even though you're the justice reporter, and it's the kind of story you should and almost certainly would report if it was any other religious community but your own. I'm sure, if I told her, that the Roman Catholic Church was accusing me of blasphemous libel in an effort to cover up and hide pedophilia and rape. Good day. By Roman Catholic clergy, she'd jump on the story, but because it's Unitarian Universalist Association, her own religious community, oh well, no, that story's not going to get reported. And as I said, I tried to get the Gazette to cover the story on at least 2 or 3 occasions, to no avail. They found all kinds of excuses not to run the story. And I have to consider that it might be because Sue Montgomery pulled her weight within the Gazette to squash the story. But as I was saying, that's not the only thing she did. Sue Montgomery is actually directly involved, or has been directly involved, in efforts to force an end to my peaceful public protest in front of the church. So Sue Montgomery has essentially tried to cover up and hide Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse by, forcing an end to my protest in front of the church that protests against clergy abuse. Now, my protests against all forms of clergy abuse, not just clergy sexual misconduct, but it certainly includes clergy sexual misconduct, and a subset of clergy sexual misconduct is, to use Stikeman Elliott, barristers and solicitors, litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-André Coulombe's very own words, such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So, here's Sue Montgomery on the one hand, coming out as a rape victim, coming out and saying, she was raped, but she never reported it, encouraging women to report, their experiences of having been raped in the past. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But on the other hand, Sue Montgomery is herself not only complicit in, but even actively involved in the cover-up and denial of pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist clergy. So a little bit of a hypocritical double standard there. That's why I'm calling attention to that tonight. And I do want people to know that the Unitarian Universalist Association has gone to ludicrous lengths to try and cover up and hide pedophilia and rape by accusing me of blasphemous libel. I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing to do. I mean, it is immoral, it's unethical, it's borderline criminal in that falsely accusing someone of a crime, if you report it to the police, is a crime known as public mischief. If you make false reports to the police about someone, that's public mischief. So they're one step away from committing public mischief. Now, I don't think they ever will report that to the police because I've made it clear to them just how false that claim is. But nonetheless, they're just one step away from committing a crime. So anyway, I decided to make a few picket signs. So these ones are comparatively new. Yeah, it looks like we got some people coming, so I guess I'll just make the main one visible.
You're playing in the show.
What's that?
I'm in the show.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed it, but it says right here, the Gazette's justice reporter Sue Montgomery never reported that rape. I asked her to report about cover-up of pedophilia and rape in a church, and she refused to report the story. So that was somebody who saw my ticket sign and said word, basically agreeing with the gist of it. But I wanted to underline to her that I'm saying that Sue Montgomery herself is complicit in cover-up and denial of rape. and specifically rape of children. So.
Sound or you're really good in-room sound, in the house sound. And if you have both, that's the best scenario. You might
Anyhow, it's just under 12 minutes into this first segment of video. I basically record pretty well everything that's happening when I'm protesting, because you never know what's going to happen. I've had people behave badly. I've also had false accusations about my behavior brought against me by people who are trying to shut down my protests. So I want to be able to protect myself from that by showing that, well, no, that didn't happen. But I also just generally document what happens. There's often interesting interactions with people. And it's nice to have a record of that as well. It's basically a combination of surveillance. Thank you, sir. Combination of personal security cam, surveillance camera, and documentation